Okay, for starting any React application, first of all we need to install the Node.js. I have already installed Node.js in my application. So for installing the Node.js, you have to go to the Chrome and search for Node.js. And you use the download option here, and you need to select the Windows installer, and it will download automatically. So as I have already installed the Node.js, I don't want to install the Node.js, and you have to click on the next like this and install the Node.js. After installing the Node.js, it will show in the window tab. Okay, if I search here Node.js, here the application will show like this, Node.js. And if you click on double click, it is also open. Okay. After that, we need to open the VS Code and select the folder where we need to start our React application. I have already created the React.js folder. In the React.js folder, I want to create the new project for the React. For that, we need to click on the terminal, new terminal, so that it will give us the path where we are creating. Here I am in the front-end second batch course. I want to create the folder in React.js. For that, I want to change the directory to React.js. You can type the React space JS or JS and click on the enter, or cd space tab. After clicking on the tab, it will show the React.js folder. So we are in the React.js folder. In the React.js folder, I want to create the create tab. For creating the React tab, we need to use npx create React app. We need to give over the application name. I am creating Shivakumar website or the application, or you can give another hyphen also. Here npx is the node package executor, which will help us to create the React app. Only we have to use npx at the starting of the create React app application. After that, we don't need any npx command. After that, we need to, after npx space, we need to use this create React app. It will help us to create React app with our application name. Here my application name is Shivakumar web application, and after that we need to click on enter. It will install all the React folders in our React.js with the Shivakumar web application folder. Here, if you see in my application, only e-commerce website is there for first time. After clicking on the, or after executing this npm command like npx create React app Shivakumar web application, in the React.js folder we have the folder is created with that name, file name, whatever we are giving. In that folder, all the React related files and folders will automatically install. It will take more than 5 to 10 minutes of time, depends upon the application, like the system and the depends upon the system and the internet connection. So please wait for some time. It will install the packages like React, React DOM and React scripts at the starting with the CRA template. CRA template means create React app. It will download all the plugins, these all necessary packages will install in our folder Shivakumar web application. If you see in the package.json, okay, as of now we are not installed all the things, so it will take some time to install the dependencies and all the things for the React. Okay, at the starting we have in the package.json our application name and the version and the private is true. It will with this key value pairs some object is created. And React is a single page application. All the content will download at the starting only. When we are navigating to other pages, when you are navigating to the other pages, the browser doesn't reload. It will update the data only. And the another feature of the React.js is we are using JSX in our React app. JSX means JavaScript and XML. XML means it is like a HTML, but there are some rules are there. For XML, it is like it should have a opening and closing tags. In HTML, if you see for image tag, we don't have any closing and opening closing tag. Like we have only opening tag. If you are not using the closing tag, then it doesn't throw any error. If you are using, it is a best practice to use the closing tags for every tag. In HTML it doesn't throw any errors, but in XML if you are not using the closing tag it will throw errors. Another thing is that we should wrap all the JSX into single wrap all the elements all the JSX into single element. Like we can create we can use a div. In the div we can do all the things that we want to do. These are the two necessary things. And React another advantage of React is it is a data flow is from like it is unidirectional. So from parent to child all the data will flow. It is easy to debug. When it comes to the Angular, it is like data flow is bidirectional, so it is difficult to debug the things. Like if you want to like check what the data is passing flowing in our application, it is difficult to debug. But in React, it is easy to debug the things as it has sharing the data from parent to child. And in React we have so many libraries are available in online, so we can use this those npm libraries by installing in the React app. And React the browser normal browsers like Chrome, Firefox, Safari and Microsoft Edge, these all have supports only HTML, CSS and JavaScript to render the web page in our browser. But in the React we are using like JSX, so which is not a normal JavaScript and HTML. So what happens is we need to translate all this JSX into JavaScript and HTML. For that we are using in React application we are using like Babel. Okay, Babel is like a transpiler which is used to transfer all this JavaScript and JSX into JavaScript and HTML. So it will render the things. If you see the node modules folder is created in our in my application Selvakumar web application. In the node modules so many folders are created, and if you see the React will automatically install all these things like so many things. But if you see in the application it is not necessary to know all the things, and it is difficult to understand all the things. We don't need to understand all the things because it is helpful for the React to run in our browser. So we don't need to run all the things. It will automatically done by React itself. So forget about the node modules. Like if you are downloading any extra packages like extra libraries from a different servers like from online, for those are also node modules folders will be created in these applications in the node modules. And the other folders that are created in our React application is a public folder, source folder. These are the common files, and the package.json as it is already open, and the package.log.json. And the package.json will help us to like what are what version we are using for the React, and what version we are using for React DOM, what are the packages that are installed, dependencies, like that. Like if you are like using any extra library from other extra library, that data is also available in package.json in key value page, like what package we are using and the version of the package. And the package.json is like a extra information that is provided in a provided. So what package.json will do, like it doesn't give only normal letters, it will give you extra information about our packages that we are installing. These are the basic things that are needed in React. In React we are using like .jsx and files and .js to create the components. Components are like building blocks of the application. In HTML we are using like divs and some like we need to do so many repeated things, like we are copying all the HTML elements if you need those HTML elements in another pages. But in React it is like using the component structure, so whenever we are using, we can use directly those components by importing and using. These are the basic things. In public folder we have index.html file. In like this HTML page will only display, as we already know, the browsers will display the HTML page, like whatever we like see, like index.html is the main page that we are using. In the same way, React also uses index.html page. If you see, after installing all the packages, it is giving the package.json with some key value pairs. If you see here in the dependencies, what are the versions that we are using, it is showing the right side as value, and what we are installing. Here we are installing the create, React DOM, React scripts, and if you want to start our React application, we need to use like npm start. If we want to test our React application, we can use npm test. And if you want to we can see all the information for the development what we are using. We can see our React app will start at port number 3000, and it will give the some packages like testing libraries also also installed in our React application. After installing the React DOM and React scripts, it is now installing the template dependencies using npm. If you see in the public folder in the left side, index.html page is there. If you see, it is like a regular HTML page with HTML tag, wrap all the things in the HTML tag, and we have head tag and the body tag. And if we have a title like a React tab, it will show in at the top of the tab like a text, and it is giving extra information about in the headers, like in the meta tag, like it is compatible to viewport like a normal HTML, and we are using React icon here, and relation equal icon, and some extra information is provided in the header. And in the body, they created like a root element. Like in the div, they are giving a ID root. With the help of this ID, we are rendering all the JavaScript into this. So if you see in the like index.js file, it is available in the source. I am opening the index.js file. If you see the root equal to React DOM dot create root document dot get element by ID. So it is like we are rendering all this. We are using this render method to display all the content that is there in the app.js. It will render to the root. What is root? Root is like a we are accessing the index.html root. It is showing like that. Here if you see it is looking different, like it is using the React DOM or React DOM.create root, which is like a Babel thing, which is helpful to create the application. Replaces React DOM render with a .render method is called and enable concurrent methods. Okay, if you hover on this, it will show some extra information about all this also, and it is providing the docs also. The simple thing is like I'm opening the app.js file. Here in the app.js file, what is there? Here there is some function is there and having the return. So whenever we call app, it will show all these things inside this return statement. Here in the index.js, we are using like a opening tag of HTML. It is like when we call app function, what will happen? It will call the app function. It will call the app function which is there in app.js and return all the things. The same thing that is there, but here we are using the JSX, and if we want to call these things like in the component base, then we have to use the structure like this: dot left angular bracket less than app closing and greater than symbol. We are rendering all this app.jsx file. We are using all this app.js file in the root.render. Like we want to display all the things that is there in the app.js. We'll have to display in the root, and that's root. What is root? It is like related to the HTML page, document.getElementById root. Like we are accessing the DOM element of the HTML element and rendering this app.js file. This is the common thing. So now all the packages and node modules are downloaded, and our folders are also created automatically. I have not done any changes now, but if you see in the Self-Kumar web application, I have node modules, public, source, and package log.json, package.json. These are all the things that are automatically created by using the CRA template, like create React app. If you see here git ignore, in the git ignore, what happens is we don't need to send all this information to the Git repository. Like if you remove these things, then what happens is when we are push the code to the GitHub, then these node modules will also push. These node modules, like the size of the node modules is large. It is like a 300 MB of data is there. So if you want to push all these things to the like GitHub repository, then it will take more time, and it is not a good practice to push the node modules in the GitHub. So for that purpose, we are ignoring all these Git things, like node modules, PNP build, some like env environment, env, like if you want to store the API keys or secure data, then we have to store all these in env files. So we are also not pushing the env files into the GitHub, and we are not pushing the node modules also into the GitHub. This GitHub ignore will help us to do the things. Okay, these are the things I'm explaining again. If you want to create our React app, then we have to use this command npx create React app and the application name. My application name is Self-Kumar web application. After using this command, one folder is created in our directory. Here my directory is React.js. In the React.js, I have created the Self-Kumar app application. In the React.js, the Self-Kumar app application is created. If I open this Self-Kumar app application, these are folders like node modules, public, source, git ignore, package log.json, and package.json. Here node modules is like it will download automatically when we are using the this command npx create reactor, it is like run in the background to run the React app. And the public folder is like we have a index.html page, which is the first file that was loaded. So in the index.html file only we are using all these JSX and JS files. We are rendering all these things in the index.html page. And we don't have to modify these files, index.html file or index.js file. In the index.js file, what it was doing, it is integrating the app.js file into the index.js file. Like here we are using like a app. It is like we are calling this app function. When we call this app function, it will return these things. So we are here, all this code will come into this in the app place, and we are displaying all these things, that is what is there in the written statement of the app, that has to be displayed in the root, which is document get element by id root. In the HTML we are creating the root. We don't need to modify the index.html file or index.js file at the creation of the project. After installing the after the React app is installed, we need to navigate to the our web application. Here now we are in the directory React.js. As we have already created the our application, now I want to navigate to this Sevcomar web application folder. For this, we need to change the directory to cd and press the tabs. If I press the tab for the first time, it is showing the e-commerce website, and if I press the tab for second time, it is showing the Sevcomar web application. And after that, clicking on the enter. Now we are in the directory Sevcomar web application. Here our React app is there. So I want to start this Sevcomar web application. So for the first start the React app, we need to use the command npm start. Here npm means node package manager, and we want to start our React application, and clicking on the enter. It will create the development server, like it will open in a default browser. If it is not open, it is always React do the things like it is recommended for the React, like it will open in a localhost 3000 port. So after it is showing the React script starts. If you see the package.json file also, here the scripts are there. I have used npm start, which helps us to start this command React scripts and start, which will help us to start our React application. So now I am closing all these files and I'm opening the app.js file only. Here if you see, it is starting the development server. Means in our local, our server is started and it will show the output. Here if you see, the localhost 3000 is open in our edge. Now I want to use in the Chrome. For that I want to click on the tab and type localhost 3000, and after clicking on the enter, whenever this development whenever the server is ready, then it will show the output. I keeping this browser on the right side and the VS Code in the left side to show the output whenever we are done any changes. And always better to keep pin auto save. So whenever we done any changes, that changes will reflect automatically in the browser. So it will take like around 10 seconds, 2 minutes, depends upon the system. If you see here in app.js file, in the function format, we have like HTML format is there. which is JSX. If you see here we have a image tag, which helps us to display the image, and we have the paragraph tag which helps us to display the edit src app.js and save to reload. Like it is showing like if you want to see the changes, then we need to do the changes in the app.js file source. App.js file in the source. In the source, app.js file is there. In the app.js file, we have to modify some some changes and click on the save button, Ctrl S. Then the web page will automatically reload. And here in the first step, it is like showing the link item, Learn React. If I click on this Learn React, it will open the document like a React document in the Ember. As it is giving the target blank, the link will open in the Ember tab. So if you see here, all the React necessary coding like the learning stages will be there. We can learn from the React documents also. Now I want to delete all the things that is there in the div, main div. So you have to do also same thing. Select all the things like header part and click on the backspace or delete those things. And after that I want to, like as I have already deleted all the things, nothing is shown in the browser. And if I click, if I type anything like taking at the starting stage, think it is like a body tag of a HTML file. It is not a HTML file. And if I want to use HTML, what I have to do? I have to open a heading H1 and type in the things learning React. So if you see in the browser, the learning React is automatically come. As we have used the order of the CSS part, like class name equal to app. Okay, it is like in the CSS file. We have all the classes like a text align center. If I change the CSS part to left, then this text align will come to the left. So I don't want to use the class name of the application. So we can delete this. And if you want to use the CSS, then we have to import the CSS in that JSX file or JS file. So as we are not using this file, we can delete. But as we are starting the application today, so I am not removing these things. I am not using the CSS. If you want to use the CSS from this app.css, then we have to use like a class name equal to. Example, I want to use the class name equal to in the app.css. Select those class name like app, Ctrl C, and paste in the app. And if you want to add, make it into the center as like a CSS, normal CSS, then it will come into the center. If you want to change the color to red, then it is changing to the red. But as of now, I don't want to use this styling part. I want to use like a normal HTML. So I am removing this style part also. Now here, whatever we type inside this, that will show in our localhost 3000. Okay, when we are doing any changes, like it will compile all the things and it will display. After that, it will display the things. So like we can use a paragraph tag, p tag, like this. But whatever the things that we are using in our JSX, that needs to be wrapped in a single tag. Here I have used the div tag. Learning React. Now I want to show my name on the browser, like name column Shiva Kumar. Okay, it is like a HTML code. We don't have any right to change these things as we are using HTML. So if you want to make it dynamic, then we need to like store it in a variable. My name equal to double quotes string. Here I have created a string with a variable my name, so I can use directly my name here. But whenever we are using these things, it is like a HTML. So if you want to use the JavaScript in like in the return statement, then we need to use curly braces. Then whatever we type inside it will refer to the my name before the return statement. Like whatever is there after the function, before the return statement. Here my name refers to the my name of the here, and I have typed Shivkumar here. If I type anything like Shivkumar B, then it will show the things. Okay. And after that, if I want to add the designation like a front-end developer. Here I want to create another variable like a const role equal to front-end developer. Then if I want to use this role here in the JSX like HTML, then we have to type the role. But don't forget to use the curly braces. If you have forget to use the curly braces, like it will show the normal HTML. So that we need to use the curly braces to show the role. Here the role is front-end developer. And it is like if we are using the JavaScript in HTML. If you want to use JavaScript in HTML, then we need to use it in a curly braces role. Like if you want to use my phone number, const phone number equal to, I'm typing a random number, and in the HTML what I need to do, create a paragraph tag and a ph number, and then in the curly braces I need to provide this variable phone number. So whatever we type inside this phone number, like phone number is a number, so we don't need to wrap in a double quotes. So it is easy to manipulate the DOM of the HTML. When compared, if you want to modify this, like if you want to use this variable, like creating a separate JS file, and if you want to use these things, then we need to link those HTML and a React JavaScript file, and we have to use like a document.getElement by ID. That we need to create a ID for this paragraph, and after that we need to .inner HTML equal to phone number. Then only it will display. But in the React JS, we can use directly with the help of the curly braces. So now I want to create the present date, today date. So I am creating another paragraph, today date or time, today date. For the today date, we can type dynamically, like statically for April 2023. Okay, if you type statically, then it will work. But when it comes into the 5th April, as we are using like a it is like a string. So it will whatever is there inside this p tag, it will display like this. If you are opening in this like a 5th or 6th of April, it will show only 4th April only. For that I want to create the date by using the dynamic method. As we have already date methods in our JavaScript, I want to use that. const date equal to new date. Then all the properties of the date object will comes into the date. So now I want to use the today to get the date. Const date equal to like day, as we have already date. Today date, I want to create a variable today date. I want to integrate the date dot get date method. If we call this date dot get date method, then I want to show creating the another p tag. I want to show it in a dynamic way. So now I want to integrate this date inside the p tag. For that, we need to use the curly brace like today date. It will give the today date like 4. If I want to get month, then const today date equal like instead of today date we can use present date, something like that.
This
a constant is used for the defining the variable.
For these two, we have to use. Is it using for these two? That 9 number.
9 number?
Because you are using it here.
Yes.
If we comment this line, does it work this line?
If you are not using, like date is like a object, as we are using the new keyword. It will give all the, it will call this date function. It will call the date function and give the object of the date method. In the date method, we have several properties like get date, get month, get full year, some get minutes, get hours, like this. So if you want to use the properties inside the date, then we have to use date dot get date.
Then we have to declare like this.
Yes. Otherwise, we are not able to access the date methods. Month equal to date dot get month. So after the, I want to use like a month, but here there is a problem will come. It is giving the 3, as the months will starts from 0 to 11 like that. So for that we need to add +1 to this month, so that it will give the correct. And after that we need to show the, here 0 means January, 1 means February, 2 means March, 3 means April. If you want to show like this, then we can use month +1. Otherwise we have to make a switch condition, and if you are getting the month as 3, then it has to match the April month, and we need to return like this. We can use like that also by using the switch statements, and display the April as a text. Const year equal to date dot get year. Get full year is the method name. So if we want to use year, then we have to use like curly braces year. So it will display the date also. If I open this like tomorrow, it will update the date as we have taken it from the date methods. But before will show only tomorrow also, it will show 4 only. But if I open this page tomorrow, then it will show 5, and you can try also. And I want to display the current time also. Time also will have to dynamically come. For that purpose, as we have date method, in the date method we have a time also, like hours equal to date dot get hours, and const minutes equal to date dot get minutes, const seconds equal to date dot get seconds. These are the three methods for getting the time. So now I want to integrate all the things. Hours colon minutes colon seconds. So here if you see 8:1 is there, now the time is 8:1, so it is showing 8:1. If I click refresh on this, it will calculate the time again and it will show the 22. 20 means it will calculate the 12 hours time, 24 hours time, so it is displaying the 20. If I click on the reload again, then it is showing the current time dynamically. So if you want to, like in normal HTML, if you are using the things, then it is like a static way. So but if you want to use dynamically, then we have to use JavaScript. That JavaScript has like we are using all this JavaScript before the return statement, and we can use this JavaScript inside our JSX by using the curly braces. Okay, if you see here, I have not changed any files in our React application. I have changed only the app.js file inside this div statement, and before the return. Okay. Before the return, we have to use all the JavaScript that we want to use in this file, and whatever the JSX that we want to use, we need to use in the return. Good. Thank you.